Well, welcome everybody. I'm Sneaky Bastard number one.
I'm Sneaky Bastard number
And
2.
you're tuned into the Sneaky Bastard. Stick around. We're going to have a quick show for you. We're going to give you another update on the, well, everybody still calls it the coronavirus, but it's COVID-19.
Yeah, that ain't called the sun disease.
And we have some news out of Russia. I know Russia, is interfering with the election, and everybody's worried about Russia. But sometimes you get some news from different perspective to see what's really going on in the world, because you really can't trust our media here. So we're going to let Gail take over here, and he's got a little update on the coronavirus and maybe where it came from or what's happening. But I hear it's mutated already.
Yes, that's what I've heard too.
And what have you heard?
Well, I've heard that if you get those that got the original early strain, there's a higher percentage of death rate and lung tissue scarring that is already mutated to a milder strain, and the chances of surviving it are like double what.
Yeah, everybody was kind of worried that if this thing mutated, it would really get really, really bad. But it seems the mutation has kind of tamed a little bit, so if you get the second mutation, it's not quite as bad as the first.
Now that's what's important.
Okay. Now, did you hear this through Russia Today? Is that...
Yeah.
All right, so you went through a couple links and then found
Yes.
some stories on where it might... I don't think it really matters where it came from or how it started. I mean, it's kind of nice to know where it started from, so maybe we can stop this in the future,
Well,
but it really doesn't matter now.
Yes,
I mean,
in a way it does. Because if you know where and how it started, the conspiracy people saying that it is a bioweapon,
yeah.
they're not right. Because, see, if it's a bioweapon, the mutated strain of a bioweapon won't lose its virulency. Matter of fact, if it does mutate, it'll get even stronger.
Yeah.
So if it's getting weaker, then it's probably, even though it might been weaponized, it's still of a natural state. And the ones from a natural state, a lot of times will mutate into a less virulent strain and then kill themselves, kind of like some of the different flus and everything else happened throughout history. Believe it or not, I was watching something on History Channel or Discovery Channel, one of them. That's kind of what happened to the bubonic plague and stuff in Europe. After a while, it mutated, and the mutated strain started killing itself, and that's why it died out. So that's a good thing. Not that any death's a good thing.
Yes. But it's not as bad as everybody's making it out to be, unless you have a...
Well, if you've got respiratory problems, and if you were to have already caught and have very bad cases of flu, or already have pneumonia, then you better start writing your will, because there's a good chance it's going to eat your ass up.
Yeah. So stay healthy out there. Eat healthy. Stay away from big crowds. Wash your hands.
And your face a lot.
Yeah. Just be smart about it.
Because people don't realize is when you get to rubbing your eyes and stuff, a lot of times, most illnesses, yeah, you can get the airborne thing and inhale things, you get it in your nose, but if you've got it on your hands and you wipe your eyes...
Yeah, just think how many times you use your hands. You open doors with your hands. You go to a kiosk and put in your order, or you shake somebody's hand and then you go wipe your face. That's how you catch it. It's usually not with them, sneezing on you that much.
The Chinese were talking to stuff about how they're washing all the money and doing a UV thing to kill it, and they're talking about going fully digital. Well, the thing is when you use your card, you touch the card machine.
Yep.
If it's a debit card, you punch in your 4-digit code.
Yeah.
Well, there's germs on the card machine.
Yeah. So, a little trick I use, I don't use my fingertips a lot, unless, that's all you can get in there, but, use your knuckle. And then you wash your hands, because not often you touch your knuckle in your face.
Right.
Just a little hint there from us sneaky bastards. We also want to touch a little bit on the economic thing that this is causing. We have noticed that the stock market has been losing a lot of money here.
There's reasons for that.
And some of it probably is from the threat of the coronavirus, because people don't realize how we're interconnected. All the countries are interconnected, and we don't make a lot of stuff here in America. I mean, the biggest thing we make here is debt. We're really good. Americans are really good at creating debt, but we really don't manufacture much here.
Even the things that we manufacture, we get the parts from Asia, not just China.
Yep.
We get them from Vietnam, South Korea, Thailand.
But we have noticed that the U.S. government is pumping a lot of money into the repo market still.
Correct.
We're still having problems there.
Keeping the banks afloat.
And we're thinking that some of the loss we see is tied to the coronavirus, but we think that the banks have been getting with the government and said, hey, we can't keep pumping this up, and you guys can't keep pumping the banks up, and something's got to give. And we think this is a great time for the banks to say, hey, let's not cause an economic collapse, but if we're going to do it, we can blame it on the virus instead of the
Rahm
banks.
Emanuel, who was in the Obama administration, is famously quoted for saying, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
So if you blame it on the coronavirus or COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
it takes the blame off them and puts it onto, don't look here, look over here. Okay? Because if you actually saw the money that they wasted, and that's why they're in trouble, because they got all these derivatives and hedge bets and all this stuff, you'd want the bankers in jail.
Yeah.
But if the bankers can blame it and the politicians can blame it on something else, they want to stay out of jail. That's what it boils down to.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's true. The thing is, we got a supply chain disruption, and there's getting to be shortages. And this is going to be a way to convince the people that the government that the Fed has to pump all kinds of money into the system and stuff like that. But here's something that most people don't pay attention to. Have you checked the price of oil?
I was just about to bring that up.
The price of oil keeps going down and down and down and down. The banks have hedged their bets on the shale oil and the fracking and stuff. For that to be viable, you have to keep oil at minimum $50 or $60 a barrel.
Yeah, it has to be up there a ways.
Just to break even. If you take fracking and all that stuff out of it, oil is really only worth about $30 a barrel. But the banks will all collapse because they have got hundreds of billions of dollars tied up and invested in all these fracking situations and shale oil and stuff. So they're all going to be on the hook for hundreds of billions of dollars that they've leveraged up and stuff.
Well, I did do a little bit of homework this morning before you showed up here.
Okay.
And I was reading where Saudi Arabia is not too happy with us, and they are now trying to force the price of oil down by dropping prices and producing more. And they're not happy with OPEC because, as we know, a lot of countries now are buying oil and gold and trade.
Or in trade or using local currencies and not the petrodollar.
And now, I don't know if they think in the long run this will raise the price of oil, but they want to bring, I guess they want to put a stranglehold on our production. By dropping the price, making it uneconomical for us to be able to produce oil.
Well, there's another side to that.
All right.
The other side to that is they were trying to keep the price up a little bit by cutting back production. Well, one of the largest suppliers to China. Who's the two largest suppliers to China?
Well, I know Iran is, because that's why there's a big infection rate in Iran.
Right.
Not sure who the other would be.
Who's got a pipeline right straight into China?
Oh, that would be Russia.
Oh, yeah. You know what Putin said? We're not cutting back on production. This is between us and China.
Yeah.
What are the natural? They have a huge pipeline for natural gas from the Soviet Union into China.
Yep. And then on another note of, and I've always said that, you know, the economy's doing bad when gas prices are cheap,
Correct.
because that means they're not selling a lot of gas. So they
Correct.
make it cheaper so people will buy it. That means truckers aren't buying it, you know, and we know that a lot of the ports are pretty much closed down because there's nothing coming in, like you were saying earlier. The
What about that big refinery fire we had 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
out there in Texas, but the price keeps dropping?
going down.
It should have gone up because you had a refinery fire, but it's
Yeah.
going down.
But there's another sign that the economy is not doing as great as we think it is. Mortgage rates are at, what, a 50-year low?
Yes.
Now, this is a double-edged sword. It's great news to have cheap mortgage rate. Now would be a great time to buy a house, if you can afford to buy a house, and if you stay within what your budget is. Now,
And
a
if you
lot
can
of
get
people...
if you can get a house that's not overinflated on the price.
Exactly. A lot of people will be thinking that this is the time to buy a house because mortgage rates are low, and now they're thinking, well, maybe I can buy a little bigger house because mortgage rates are low. But the other edge of that sword is if you buy something too big and all of a sudden property values go down because an economic collapse happens, you could be underwater in an instant on something that you shouldn't have bought in the first place. You know, so buy, you know, if you're going to buy a house, buy something you can afford now, not in the future. Well, maybe something you can afford in the future, but not something that's going to put you underwater. Buy a small house at a good rate.
Here's something else to think about. If we have an economic slowdown because of this supply chain disruption, how many city, county, and state employees want to take a wage cut? Because if property values and stuff start going down, to keep up the coffers of, like, say, the state government,
Yeah.
they'll raise your property tax. And if you buy a bigger piece of property,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one there's going to be a bigger tax thing on.
And to end the show here, we're getting on the time constraints here. Real quick, if you're in Illinois, we're praying for you
Yes.
because it looks like Illinois' government is going to start asking for bankruptcy protection.
Or a federal bailout.
Yeah. Over the last 10 years, more people have been moving out of the state of Illinois, and Illinois has one of the highest pension funds out there for all their
It's so
firemen,
bad they don't
police.
even half mow on the interstates. They don't even halfway mow the grass, just near the interchanges.
So if you happen to work for the state of Illinois, we wish you well in the future because your pension might not be there unless us good folks in the rest of the country decide to bail you out. But why would we do that when you're so irresponsible in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, let's do a little bit of crypto news because, you know, it's always nice to have some crypto news. So what's happening in the crypto world?
Crypto. Cryptos right now are down. I think just like a lot of things, it's everybody's trying to get into cash because they don't know which way the frog's going to jump, and they think if they're sitting in cash, that they're going to grab something on its way up, and don't realize that if they go to getting rid of paper money, you've either got digital paper money or you've got real digital that has a defined amount.
Can't be watered down.
It can't be watered down.
Yeah, so right now, cryptos are down. But the reports are that it's going to start pumping here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, if the
Okay.
stock market keeps going down. So we'll see.
Here's why I'm not too worried about crypto. The Supreme Court of India ruled that cryptocurrencies, they basically overruled the central government. And the Supreme Court of India said that, oh no, we ain't playing that game. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are real. You can't make them illegal, and the people can use it.
And I think a couple other countries are coming on board.
Germany, what they did is they said, okie dokie, they have paved the way for banks to be able to have a bank wallet to keep your cryptocurrency for you, that if you want to swap out a cryptocurrency into a money market and back and forth and stuff like that, they're going to license banks in Germany to be able to hold, use, buy, and sell cryptocurrencies. I don't think it's going away if they're allowing banks in Germany to do that.
Yeah, and I think France just said something that they think it's
France did the same thing.
they green lighted cryptocurrency. So buy you some cryptocurrency. Look, nothing we say here is financial advice. All right, don't take it from us.
Yeah, do your own due diligence on this.
We're just two old geezers here that like to drink beer and talk on the interweb here, this new thing called the interweb, whatever. But we just throw some news out there, news and views you can use. I'm JD.
And I'm Gail.
And you've been listening to Sneaky Bastards. If you would, it'd be nice if you give us a like or, a thumbs up or whatever. But we'd really love you to share some of our videos. And if you would, you can subscribe. That would be great. But you can catch us here on YouTube and on some other platforms if we ever get our ass and start doing that. Did you ever
on
do the BitChute?
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 I've
What
got
did I just say?
I don't know.
It sounded good.
Don't forget, we got Every Bit Matters.
Every Bit Matters on Facebook. Check it out. All right. And again, I'm JD.
And I'm Gail.
I'm Sneaky Bastard 1.
I'm Sneaky Bastard 2.
And we'll see everybody on our next video. So stick around, and we enjoy doing this for you. So we hope you'd share some of our videos. We'll see you next time.